Welcome to the third part of this series of a beginner's guide, how to get into your golf. Today we're going to go into the short game and look at the different aspects of that, show you the simplest ways to get this part of your game sorted out, ready to go on the golf course. That's coming up right now. Okay, so fundamental thing with putting, you need a putter. And what's a putter actually do? Well, it's got a very straight-faced angle on it here that's going to hit the ball along the ground. We've no longer got any loft, so we're not trying to hit the ball in the air at all for this. So the ball's going to roll along the ground. The key to this is learning to control the distance that you hit the ball. More important than anything else. So what we're going to do here is try 3 different sizes of stroke and see what happens. So first of all, a very small stroke like this. If you look at my feet, basically staying within my feet. So if I just do this 3 times, back and through, back and through, back and through. And you can see that's hit the ball about the same distance with each one of those. I take them back and do the same again. This time I'm going to make a slightly bigger swing, which is going to go from outside of my feet. So it's just a slightly bigger stroke. Just watch what happens to the golf ball when I do that. And you can see, once again, they go about the same distance, but a lot further than the first one. And simply, we're going to do the same thing again, but with a larger stroke still. And now we're going to take a very small swing. So it's a very small swing, but a bit bigger than what I was doing before. And once again, you can see that hits the ball about the same distance each time. So I now have some control over how far I'm going to hit the ball. So when you get on the green and you're close to the flag, you can think to yourself, right, I need a small stroke that's going to fit within my feet. If I've got maybe 15 feet to go, I'm going to need a putting stroke that's a bit bigger. It'll go outside my feet. And if I've got 30 feet or more, I'm going to need a small swing. Now, what are the other critical elements of putting? Well, there are theories around galore. You can find all sorts of things on the internet about what you should and shouldn't be doing, where your head should be, what your hands should be doing. But actually, none of those things are very important. The more important thing is gaining control over the distance that you're going to hit the ball. If you do that to start with, you will actually you'll get the ball closer to the hole each time you hit it. And that's really the important thing, is if after each putt you're closer to the hole, you're on the right tracks. Probably will take you about 3 putts most times to get down when you first start. And then as you progress, hopefully eventually get to the stage where your first putt is close enough that you can get down for 2. That's the kind of objective we're looking for. Don't get too hung up about it at first. Just enjoy this sense of hitting different size strokes to make the ball go different distances. And that will be enough to get you off on the right track. The next thing you need to know is how to get onto the green when you're just off the edge of the green. This is going to happen quite a lot when you start, and you're going to need to learn a chip shot. That's not a chip shot, by the way, it's a chip shot. And what happens is you're going to use a lofted club like this, which will just elevate the ball a little bit, get it off the ground, and then it can land on the green and start rolling. What we're going to need to use is something a little bit bigger than what we just saw on the putting stroke there. So you saw with the biggest of the putting strokes how my body starts to move a little bit. And with this one, I'm going to allow my body to move a little bit more and make a very slightly bigger swing. See what happens. And it just lifts the ball out of this longer grass, up into the air and onto the green. And it's all about making that small swing from back here through to here. Don't be tempted to just chip and stop. You need to actually come through and finish around about here. So the follow through kind of matching the backswing. Fairly light hold on the golf club. Don't get too tense with this, and you'll just be able to pitch the ball onto the green from these close range shots. So once again, just a little bit further away from the green now, just going to have to lift the ball a little bit further, so a slightly bigger swing, but just trusting the loft on the club, the angle on that face there, to lift the ball over this first part of the grass and get it up onto the green there. Note the fact that it's a very smooth, very easy swing, nice and relaxed in my hold on the club, nice and relaxed in my arms, and the ball goes through like that. So that's chipping. So the next thing you're going to have to know is how to get out of a bunker. It's something that's going to happen to you quite a lot when you start playing. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to go in bunkers, and you have to learn how to get out of them. The key to this part of the game is how to get out of the bunker in one shot. That's really the best thing you can do. Is doesn't matter how far it goes, how close to the flag or anything, just get yourself out of the bunker and back in play again. And so what I'm going to show you is the simplest possible way to get yourself out of a bunker. Now I've got the ball lying there, and as you can see, what I'm going to have to be trying to do is to get the ball out of this bunker by hitting the sand. So the key is learning how to hit the sand properly. It's the bit that a lot of golfers, even experienced golfers, get wrong. And if you can learn this bit, you'll guarantee yourself that you'll get out of bunkers in one shot. So what I'm going to show you, I'm going to put a line in the sand here, either side of the golf ball, and I'm just going to play a normal bunker shot out of this one and let you see what actually happens. Now, as you see, my club entered the sand here relative to the line. It's about nearly 6 inches behind the line, and it came out here about 8 inches the other side. And so the bottom of the sand divot, if you like, is here, just in front of the golf ball. And that's the thing that you need to get right first. So before you even start trying to get out of the bunker, before you start trying to hit golf balls, do what I've done here and draw a line. So this is drawing the line in the sand, either side of the ball, like so, and there, so we can see where the divot is relative to that line. Once again, we see the bottom of the divot there, club entering maybe between 4 and 6 inches before, coming out 6 to 8 inches afterwards, and going about an inch deep. Starting along the line, hitting the sand just where that line is, coming through and move along the line, and you can see where the divot is each time relative to that original line. And if you start at the end of the line and work your way along, learn how to swing the golf club and hit the line. It may sound blindingly obvious, but you need to be able to hit the line. If you hit before the line, or if you hit after the line, your ball won't come out of the bunker. You need that divot of sand to be centered with the line, like that. And that's going in about an inch deep into the sand. That's important to understand. You want a divot about this long, and it wants to be about an inch deep at the bottom, and the bottom wants to be either where the line is or slightly to the left of the line. Now, how do I get to hitting that 1 inch deep? Well, the simple way to do that is do it with your feet. Just dig yourself into the bunker about an inch deep, and now all you're doing is taking a normal swing. You don't have to change anything. Just take a normal swing and you'll go in about an inch deep into the sand. The good thing about doing this as well is it gives you a nice stable base, so you're not going to move around. Sometimes, if the sand's a bit loose and you just stand on top of it as you're swinging, your feet will start to move. So by digging yourself into the sand, get rid of the loose sand off the top, go down an inch deep, you're nice and stable and you won't move around. So that's the critical part of getting out of a bunker, is learning to hit the sand properly. And watch out for the sound of it when you're actually hitting the sand. if you do it right, it will sound very light and fluffy. If you do it wrong, you might hear this sort of sound. A bit of a thump. That tends to indicate that you've not quite hit the sand right. When you do it right, the club will slide through the sand and it comes right the way through. Nice, easy action, and you follow through. Whatever you do, don't hit and stop. A lot of people, when they start learning bunker shots, first thing they tend to do is to hit into the sand and stop dead. Swing through and you'll get out of the bunker every single time. So next what we're going to do is we're just going to put a row of golf balls in place of that line, and let's just see what happens to the sand when I actually hit those shots, where I hit the sand relative to the ball. So as you swing there, just making sure that that contact is an inch deep, is coming in before the ball, going through after the ball. And making sure you follow through every time. Checking those divots afterwards, and you'll see every single time the bottom of the divot is still in line with where those other golf balls are. So you can keep checking that to make sure you're hitting the sand in the right place. So watch again, just and again see the bottom of each of those divots in the same place all the way along in that same line. So that's the thing you need to practice, is making sure that you're hitting the sand in the right place. That's what's going to get you out of the bunker every single time for one shot. So for this job, coming out of a sand bunker, the easiest club to do it with is a sand iron. And why is it different to other clubs? Well, it's got lots and lots of loft, so that's going to help the ball to get upwards, but it's also a very heavy club. It's heavier than every other club in your bag relative to the rest of your set. And that's designed like that so that it will slide through the sand. You're going to use the weight of the club to slide through the sand. You don't need a lot of force in this shot. In fact, almost no force at all. It's actually use that weight to go through the sand and make sure it's a nice easy swing, hitting the sand in the way we've described, and you'll find that this club will really help you to get out of your bunker. So once again, just moving the loose sand so I'm down an inch deep, I'm the right level, take a nice easy swing, swing that weight through the ball, and the ball will come out for one shot every time. So I hope you've enjoyed this series, taking you from the very basics of how to swing the golf club through to how to use different golf clubs to hit different distances, and finally learning this short game around the green and how to get the ball into the hole. So these are the essential parts of the game. You can learn more as you go along, but these things are the critical things that will get you started and off on the right track in the simplest possible way. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and if you have, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thanks for watching.